Good morning friends, this is Shubhashankar Ghosh, Curator, Science City, Kolkata. At the onset, I would like to thank all of you for liking our last video, The Magic Liquid. I hope that you will like this video too. Well, somebody asked me that day that what kind of soap is good for washing our hand. Okay, can we use warm water? Can we use salt water? Okay, is disinfectants like Dettol, Lysol or some other chemicals are more effective in hand washing? Many questions are being raised regarding hand washing. Somebody even asked us, why 20 seconds? Why not lesser than that? Because 20 seconds is a long time. So we thought that why not explain the mechanism behind the science of hand washing for our children and for all others who are interested in knowing this. Dear children, all of you must have heard about coronavirus, correct? The deadly virus that is infecting the population of the world. The world has gone into lockdown, but we need to stop it. We need to kill it. And how can you do that? You know, no vaccines are available till now. But till the vaccines are available, we have to take some steps in order to make it inactive so that it cannot infect any new person. And the easiest way to do that is hand washing. But how can hand washing be a solution to such a deadly virus? What exactly is happening when you are washing your hand for 20 seconds? Want to know the detail? Want to know the molecular structure? What is going on? Don't worry, I'm not going to show you a very difficult structure. Rather, I will try to give you some very simple examples in order to make you understand what exactly is going on. So let's begin. Well children, can you see a very simple structure that I have kept in front of me? Well, I can say this is a very simplified form of coronavirus. Well, a coronavirus has got three components. One is a nucleic acid, another is the protein, another is the lipids. I'm not going into the functioning of that, but in broad sense, the nucleic acid is the brain of the coronavirus, okay, which is represented by this red thread-like structure. Now, in case of coronavirus, this nucleic acid is RNA or ribonucleic acid. Now, you all understand that brain is the most important component of our body, and nature tries to protect the brain in the best possible manner. Similarly, the brain of the coronavirus, the RNA, gets protection by a very solid structure. Okay, here it is represented by a wire, and this structure in nature is created by a chemical which is known as lipid. Have you heard about the term lipid? Okay, lipid is nothing but a kind of a oil. So you can imagine the brain of the coronavirus is lying in the middle, which is covered by a oil-like partition. And so if we want to kill the coronavirus, we have to first destroy this oil layer, and then only we can reach up to the brain structure. But it is very difficult to kill this layer or to destroy this layer. So we have to understand that how to break this layer. In order to break this layer, the only way is applying soap and water. So let us understand how the soap works. That will help you to understand better. In front of me, you can see that I have taken water in the glass and I have got some oil. Okay. Now I am mixing this oil with this water. Now, as you can see very clearly that the oil is floating on the surface of the water and they are not mixing with each other. Now, let us try to mix this oil and water. Let's try whether it mixes or not. Let's see. So, if you see very closely that I am trying to mix the oil with the water, but it is not mixing. Let's try it again. In any possible manner that is possible, let's do it. See, the end result is the same. That is, the oil always floats on the water because the density of the oil is lesser as compared to water. But what happens when we add soap into this? Now I am going to add this detergent in this particular oil and water solution. Okay, now let us observe what happens when we add this. The moment I added soap, that is the detergent, something has started. You can see very clearly. Now let us try to mix the oil and water again. Wow, now it has mixed very well. So what happens is that the moment we have added soap to this layer of water and oil, the oil and water get mixed up because of the application of soap. We'll get to see the result of this in the coronavirus explanation. Imagine that the top that you are seeing here, this top is like the skin of your hand. So if you see the skin of your hand, it looks very clean, it shines very nicely, and it feels like it is a very smooth surface. But is it really a very smooth surface? For that, you need to see or observe the skin under the microscope. If you observe the skin under the microscope, we get to see that the skin is not at all smooth. Okay, it is very rough. It has got a lot of crevices inside it, and it is made up of dead cells, which are made up of fats, oils, and proteins. So a very simplified version of the skin is like this. It is very rough. There are a lot of striations. There are a lot of bumps. In simple words, there are a lot of crevices, and this acts as a perfect location for the coronavirus to sit comfortably. So the next time when you touch a surface which is infected with the coronavirus stick to the surface of your skin between the crevices that you can see here. So unknowingly, this hands helps in anchoring those coronavirus, and the oil layer that you have just seen in the last example, the oil layer forms a bond with the surface of the skin and it sits tightly with it. So what happens is that when you put your hands on the water, in order to clean your hands, the water flows over the top of it without removing the coronavirus, because the coronavirus is sticking very nicely in the form of a glue with the surface of your hand. Okay, so we need to apply soap in order to remove the coronavirus. But how it works? Imagine these are the two coronavirus which has managed to sit on your skin. Okay, there are two coronavirus. You can see this is the fat or the oil layer, and this is the brain of it, and this is another coronavirus, and they have formed a nice bond with this surface. That's why you cannot move them. They are as if forming a glue-like structure with your skin. Okay, so once you apply water into it, nothing happens. The water flows over them because they stick nicely. But once you apply soap into it, what happens? The soap molecules are like these small magnets, but unlike magnets which attract only iron particles or magnetic particles, these soap particles have got both the characters. They get very easily attracted to water and they get very easily attracted to oil. So it gets attracted both to oil and to water. So imagine that this is the water droplet. This is, my fingers are the water droplet, and the moment I have made my hand wet with water and then I have applied soap, so the soap molecules have formed a bond with the water droplet. Okay, now what happens is that they are now residing on the skin, because I am now rubbing the soap on my hand for quite a long time. Once I am rubbing it, the soap molecules are getting enough time to bind with these lipid-like structures. Okay, so what is happening is that the fat which is sitting very tightly with the skin, this bond get loosened up slowly but steadily once this soap molecule work, and finally it gets dislodged. But remember, not only a single soap molecule is there, there are lakhs and lakhs of soap molecule which is binding with this lipid, and each one is forming a bond with it, and it is pulling the lipid like this. While it is pulling the lipid like this, slowly but steadily, at one point of time the lipid opens up, The moment the lipid opens up, the oil layer breaks up, the brain of the virus comes out. It is lying naked and the lipid layer breaks like this. So next time what happens is that once after rubbing for 20 seconds, you allow the water to pass down, the water drains out this part, and also this part cannot stay in your hand because it cannot form bond with anything in your hand. So basically it has become inactive or dead. So that way, by proper cleaning your hand with soap, you can inactivate any kind of coronavirus if it happens to come on your skin surface. Another important point that I must mention here is when you are buying anything from the market, you are not aware whether that surface has got coronavirus on it or not. So it is always advisable that you also clean that surface with simple detergent solution for some time, say around 20 to 30 seconds, and then that surface becomes totally free of any kind of coronavirus. I hope this activity and this description really helps you to understand how to stop coronavirus infection. Coming soon with some newer activity. For the time being, see you. Bye.